Back, ladies and gentlemen. This is. Yep. Hold on. Alright. Hold on. Alright. That was the intro. This is Mr. Blackhammer 2021. I'm making my AEW Dynamite review. The show is almost over. It's about 50 minutes left. But I'm going to do a live stream right now to go through the entire show. As you guys know, this is July 12th, 2023. Making my AEW Dynamite review. Blood and Guts mystery partner revealed. As you guys know, that next week is the Blood and Guts. Tonight, both the Blackpool Combat Club and the Elite choosing their fifth man. Rumors are circulating that Cobalt Ishii will make his AEW debut and join the Elite, reuniting both Kenny Omega and Katie for the first time in AEW. Also, the Blind Eliminator Tournament continues at NJF, and Adam Cole team up once again to take on Big Bill and Brian Cage. And Nick Wayne finally turns 18, makes his AEW debut against Swerve Strickland. Alright. Now, AEW is on. I Here's the main event. So Nick Wayne is in the main event against Swerve Strickland. Crowd behind Nick Wayne. Crowd loves him. Darby Allin's right here. Alright. Alright. So that's the main event. I'll get back into it later. But you know what? I am going to talk about AEW, but I didn't want to talk about WWE first. I probably should have made the video about WWE. I will go to AEW, but I'm going to talk about the WWE news and rumors. As you guys know, I did not do a Monday Night Raw review. I didn't do an NXT review. This week I'm going to do AEW. Now next week I will do a Monday Night Raw review to talk about what I think will happen on the build to SummerSlam. I will do a SmackDown review, and I think I will do a Collision review, AEW Collision this Saturday. SmackDown, I will do a review, but I might as well go into it right now. I'm going to talk about the WWE news and rumors and what I think gonna happen. Now, I just want you guys to say my video is sponsored by Salamonster, Fightful Pro Wrestling, JD from New York, and all my favorite podcasters who do wrestling reviews. I got more on the way. Hit that like button, leave a comment, please subscribe to my channel. My video is sponsored by also PlayStation and the Wrestling Inc. and the Wrestle Talk podcast. Make sure you guys enjoy this. I'm going to go into the news and rumors of WWE. Hold on. Now let me change the camera review for a minute. Actually, no. Okay, so here we go. So the news. Hold on. The news and rumors. And you guys know Triple H and Nick Khan scan events. I don't think I talked about this earlier. So we all know Vince McMahon is back in charge and created it. It's no secret. But a few weeks ago, some hopefully new emerged that could have put an end to some of the created chaos as of late when Triple H and Nick Khan wanted to meet with Vince McMahon about late-minute changes to Raw and SmackDown. Now it's being reported no such meeting taking place, and some of them have called it downright silly. Now, as you guys know, for Monday Night Raw, the only big things on Monday Night Raw this week is that WWE overexposed in Judgment Day. Also, Cody Rhodes admits his feud with Brock Lesnar make no sense. Yeah, because the feud sucks. Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar in a rubber match at SummerSlam. Finn Balor continued to chase Seth Rollins for the world title. Ricochet revisits his old black and gold days to prove a point to Logan Paul. SummerSlam is shaping up a Monday Night Raw. Also, I wanted to talk about concerns within WWE over Bray Wyatt.
Whether you like AEW or not, whether you like CM.
Yeah, so this is the news and rumors here. Bray Wyatt had been off TV since February, showing no signs of a return. Would you think he would be cleared by now? But according to report, Bray Wyatt is nowhere near ready to return, with it now concerning fans. While The Undertaker had spoken out publicly about Wyatt, saying that he needs to go back to what he did best, probably the old Bray Wyatt. Also, CM Punk picked to work AEW Blood and Guts in Boston next week, and an update on the backstage reputation with the debut of AEW Collision. This was yesterday, right?
Punk or not, I think one thing is for certain. AEW Collision has been a great pro wrestling show on Saturday night.
Yeah, it
Whether you
has.
find it to be a success, that remains to be seen. That is a very
It has.
subjective topic, especially with the time slot on Saturday night. But there's one reason why it's been great.
Oh, my
It's
bad.
been different than Dynamite. Talent that we haven't seen on Dynamite in a very long time seems to be getting the spotlight. And CM Punk. Everybody was wondering, is CM Punk going to take this seriously? How is CM?
Yeah,
This is according to PW Torch. Punk has incentive to repair his damaged reputation as a malcontent without a filter or the necessary social skills to get along with others in powerful positions,
yeah,
to secure cheers from savvy, well-read fans, and also to show his locker room rivals who are the veteran leaders of Dynamite. The word from backstage at Collision is that he is taking all of this very seriously, that this is his show, and he's taking pride in putting his stamp on the air and off-air vibe in the locker room. Sources have said from PW Torch that they don't necessarily reflect the views of everyone in the back, and some may have different experiences that are less positive. But overall, the vibe
yep,
appears to be moving in the right direction after some tension in his first week back related to his early dig at the Young Bucks, which I honestly feel Tony Khan approved it. That's all
yeah,
that matters, and everybody's a fucking crybaby. There's been no such insider digs in his promos since his first week back, alluding to the issues he had with the Elite and others in the past. Tony Khan has also assembled the Collision roster strategically to remove people who had conflicts with Punk from being around him on Saturday nights, and that appears to be paying off in the early stages of Collision.
yep,
You know, the type of guy is, I don't know CM Punk, obviously, but the type of guy CM Punk is, he knows that the Bucks are not going to be on Collision. He knows that Kenny Omega and Adam Hangman Page are not going to be on Collision. They're going to be strictly on Dynamite. Tony Khan has strategically set these rosters apart so that the people who don't want to work with CM Punk don't have to, and they have Dynamite that they could work on. But CM Punk looking at this, he's got his own show. He's the leader of that locker room. Things are going to go his way. He's the reason why this show exists.
yeah,
There's no way Warner Brothers Discovery is giving AEW another 2-hour block on a primetime night, like Saturday night, without CM Punk. They could fucking cry to you and tell you that's not the case all they want. CM Punk is the reason for this show. CM Punk is going to take great pride in this, and he's going to make sure it is better than Dynamite. He's going to do things differently than it's being done over on Wednesday nights. It is his stamp. It is his reputation. It is his show. And I honestly think that Collision right now is better than Dynamite. It is.
yeah,
The presentation's a lot smoother. The presentation's a lot cleaner. They do things that they used to do back in the day that they're making new again on this show, like the promos in the beginning of the show to set the table for the rest of the show for 2 hours. We got some great wrestling. We get great wrestling on Dynamite, but Collision has been churning out banger after banger after banger on Saturday night. And they need to do that. Storylines are simple. They're not indulging in multiple storylines at the same time. They're not bombarding you with 1,000 miles an hour on Saturday night. I think it's been a great show for AEW. And his reputation, good. He needs to. He needs to show everybody that he's going to work within the boundaries of the company and do what's best for the company. You should have expected this, and I'm genuinely happy. The show is a success. He's doing great. I think he's been great in this run, even better in this run return than he was when he first came back after 7 years. And I honestly think Collision's going to be a winner for AEW moving forward. I can't wait to see what they do with the weeks to come. And I honestly feel like it's definitely something that has differentiated the two products where they could, if they wanted to, go into a full hard brand split and really have some fun with it. So we will continue to monitor AEW Collision, but CM Punk's reputation right now is working, and he's working to rebuild that on Saturday night. Speaking of CM Punk, there was a news article from Fightful that also came from Voices of Wrestling. Fightful confirmed their report about CM Punk wanting to be a part of the Blood and Guts match in Boston, Massachusetts at the TD Garden on July 19th. It could have happened. It could have happened. The Blood and Guts match ended up getting, unfortunately, hampered with some injuries. We don't know what's going on with Wheeler Yuta. As far as I see, he's going to be available for that match. But the big name that's going to be missing from this match is Bryan Danielson, as he suffered a broken arm. It's not like Cody Rhodes out there, man. Broken arm. This is a real deal, broken arm. Broke his arm at Forbidden Door in his match with Kazuchika Okada and hasn't been backstage with AEW since, effectively removing him from the match. He will not be in Blood and Guts. CM Punk offered to get involved in the match, says Voices of Wrestling. Fightful confirmed Voices of Wrestling's report that Punk pitched himself as the 5th member of the Blackpool Combat Club's team. Now, whether this is serious or not, or whether he actually expected this to actually be accepted, that isn't known at this time. He has expressed his desire to work with the Elite in the past, but that said, he's not going to be able to as he wants to. They don't want to. More than likely, Punk wants it, and the lawyers and the legal team on the Elite side is not going to allow that to happen. Neither team would want it, one source said. When Fightful asked about issues with Blackpool Combat Club, Jon Moxley, and CM Punk, they were told that Moxley was not opposed to the idea. Moxley is more than likely, especially more than the Bucks, going to be a little bit more forgiving of CM Punk, I feel. However, as of 2 weeks ago, the partners for both teams, the mystery partners for both teams, have already been determined. As Tony Khan said that on Wednesday, we will find out who those men are going to be one week before the show. I think that would have been great. But again, it goes to show you that CM Punk way and end up working with him in the future. Nobody knows. I feel like eventually we're going to get that match. Eventually things will be to a point where people want to work together, are allowed to work together. It will happen. It's the biggest match that AEW could do. They all know it. Tony Khan knows it. Warner knows it. It's going to happen. By any way necessary, that match is going to happen. And that is my prediction. Whether it's at All In, whether it's out tremendous huge for AEW, but I think the idea of it sounds great. I mean, it makes sense. Hey guys, got some concerning news on Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt still is not set for a WWE return. Wyatt's been sidelined since late February as he's out of action with an illness that prevented him from getting cleared to return to the ring. Fightful Select inquired about Wyatt's status, and a WWE higher-up confirmed to Fightful that Wyatt is still sidelined and not cleared for action. Fightful's told that he is still waiting clearance, and hopefully for a return whenever that occurs, he will be back on WWE soon after that. Wyatt was involved in a feud with Bobby Lashley, and they were planned for a WrestleMania match Also scheduled to be involved with Wyatt in some capacity was Bo Dallas, Uncle Howdy. That's who the rumored name was to be playing Uncle Howdy, his brother Bo Dallas, who's been off television since, and Alexa Bliss, who is out for all of 2023 on maternity leave. In the months that have followed, we have not heard a single creative plan for Bray Wyatt due to the unpredictable nature of Wyatt getting
I'm sorry about that.
cleared by WWE Medical. Now, I don't know how, and I genuinely don't know how many of you care. I mean, I don't care. I don't. I think the trust in Wyatt is gone.
Yeah.
It is. Whether or not you like Wyatt, whether or not you think he's great for WWE television, there is a huge pocket of fans that just don't care.
Yeah, because Bray Wyatt did.
He's injury prone. Things like this are going to occur. The storylines never get fully fleshed out. They always deviate away from his original plan and his original vision. And WWE does not trust Bray Wyatt. The fans don't trust Bray Wyatt. The problem with Bray Wyatt is outside of the medical. I'm not even talking about his personal medical and health issues. The problem with Bray Wyatt is he's doing too much. He's doing way too much for a storyline, for a character that doesn't really need it. He's doing everything he can to make it cryptic and follow the rabbit hole and all this other shit. He wants to string you along on a journey. That's fine.
I mean, honestly, the Bray Wyatt character is good as dead. Nobody cares. It's not interesting. I mean, the way how they portrayed it, the way how it kind of felt forced to me. I mean, they waited 2 years for the guy to wrestle. He had a shit match with LA Knight. Uncle Howdy, we still don't know who Uncle Howdy is, and we still don't know what they're doing with Alexa Bliss. She's still in this Fiend, in this like Bray Wyatt storyline. We don't know what's gonna happen. I'm afraid when they come back, it's gonna be the same old shit, and people are not gonna care.
His creativity is bar none fantastic, but sometimes simple is best. What have I been telling you guys about Bray Wyatt? Bray Wyatt, underneath all that, is a great pro wrestler. Why isn't Bray Wyatt going back to doing what brought him to the dance? Simple is best.
Because
let's go back to what made you great. Let's go back to Wyatt family, Bray. And I'm not the only one that...
And I agree with that.
...feels that way.
And I agree with that. I think Bray Wyatt should go back to the old Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt should go back to the old Bray Wyatt. The either were Bray Wyatt from 2017, 2014. The Bray Wyatt that I want is the Bray Wyatt that wrestled Daniel Bryan back in 2014 at the Royal Rumble. That's the Bray that I want. That's what got him over. He had a great match with Daniel Bryan that put him over and propelled him. The Bray Wyatt that I want is the Bray Wyatt who beat John Cena and AJ Styles to be WWE Champion at the Chamber in 2017. That's the Bray Wyatt that I want. That's the Bray Wyatt who's over. The pop that he got when he won the WWE title was a pop like no other. Bray Wyatt was over until they killed him. And then they just wasted Bray Wyatt. And then they just erased his character and they gave him the Firefly Funhouse Bray Wyatt. Then the Fiend. I don't think people cared. The Fiend was buried after what they did with him and all the bullshit that they did with him winning the title, him losing the title, and then they did the whole thing with Randy Orton and Alexa Bliss, and nobody cared. Then he come back and this Bray Wyatt. He had they kind of dragged it out with him and LA Knight.
The Undertaker was interviewed about Bray Wyatt and gave his thoughts on Bray and how he's been booked since Extreme Rules last year in 2022. The Undertaker said this: they need to back Bray's character up to the original character. Get away from ... They've kind of got themselves booked into a situation where it's kind of difficult for him to have matches. I think the original Wyatt family Bray That's where the money is. I got to work with Bray at Mania the year after I got concussed in the Brock match. I worked with Bray. I think a lot of him, and I like what he's doing. I think they just have to figure out Bray. They need to back it up. His promos and then his ability to work. He's an incredible, incredible worker, but he's not getting the opportunity to do it. I hope the best for him. I really do think a lot of him. We'll see what happens there.
The fact that you have the Undertaker of all people say that, and he's right. I mean, Undertaker hadn't worked with Bray Wyatt before. They've been the way before, and he does have a point. The old Bray Wyatt, the Bray Wyatt who led the Wyatt family, the inner world Bray Wyatt, that's the Bray Wyatt that is over. That's the Bray Wyatt that people want to see. That is the Bray Wyatt that I can get behind by. I mean, you think about Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt is great in the ring. He's great on the mic. He had a great feud with The Undertaker. He pretty much carried that feud with him and The Undertaker at WrestleMania 31. And he had like rebuild The Undertaker. They had a match at Survivor Series. Um, Bray Wyatt was great
And
back then.
what have I been telling you for months,
Exactly.
years at this point in regards to Bray Wyatt? Is he cleared? I don't know. Clearly, the report says he's not cleared. Why? What?
I hope so.
Why is Bray not cleared? I mean,
I don't know. I don't know what to do with Bray Wyatt. How can he not be cleared? Is he injured? Did he have an illness? What are they doing? And honestly, if Bray Wyatt ever comes back to TV and he's in the ring, are people gonna still care about Bray Wyatt now than they did a few months ago? I don't think they will.
he's been dealing with a health issue, which I got tipped off on. You would think that with the health issue that it was, he would be back on television, but he's not. Is WWE personally sabotaging Bray Wyatt? Is Vince McMahon personally sabotaging Bray Wyatt? Does Bray not want to be back, knowing that the current administration is mostly Vince and not so much Triple H like he thought it was going to be when he came back? Vince McMahon blew up all those plans as soon as he came back in January, and his presence has been growing and growing and growing since then. Is he out with the medical issue? I don't know. I don't want to sit here and tell you that that is exactly what it is. But the reason why Bray Wyatt is off TV, I'm going to make a prediction. This is just me. I don't think it has anything to do with an illness. I don't think it has anything to do with him being cleared from WWE Medical. I don't think he wants to be back. I don't. Because he sees the writing on the wall. Vince McMahon is creative at a higher level. When he gets there, Bray Wyatt and everything that's going to generate that type of interest, you know Vince McMahon is going to have a hand in everything, and it's going to be right back to where it was before he got fired from the company.
Yeah.
Very concerning news for Bray Wyatt. We may never see him back on WWE television, and you can thank Vince McMahon for that.
Yeah.
Guys, set your notification.
What do you mean? They don't care about.
All right, now let's go back to AEW. Main event: Swerve Strickland and Nick Wayne. Let's see who won this match. It was a pretty good main event. Hold on.
Now, Swerve with Nick Wayne locked down. 1, 2, 3.
So, Swerve Strickland won this main event. He beat Nick Wayne. Crowd was kind of disappointed. Oh wait. Let's go into the match card. All right. Hold on. See if I can change this. Come on, change it. Now here are the math cards. We have Athena and Widow Nightland in the Owen Hart Foundation, the Women's Tournament semifinal Friday at Rampage. I don't think Rampage is live. It pre-taped. Dark Order. We got Lance Archer and Trent Beretta. Trent Beretta's on AEW. That's on Rampage. This was last month. Alright, that was pretty good. We got Kenshiko Sada. Kenshiko Sada in action. Alright. Tony Storm. We have Tony Storm. We'll hear from AEW World Champion Keith Keith Lee and Dustin Rhodes against Ruby Soho. Takes on the winner. That's like Collision. On Collision, FTR, Jay White, and Juice Robinson. CM Punk and Ricky Stark in the men tournament finals at Collision. The TNT champion with Shawn Spears and Lopez. Blood and Guts. Isn't that similar to War Game, but it called the Blood and Guts? Oh, wait, who came out? All right, Kenny Omega came out. Then they brawled. The the Epath or Neville. So Epath is the fifth member. I think we kind of expected that was gonna happen. Well, that was AEW Dynamite. That was the AEW Dynamite. All right, now let me. Oh wait, hold on. All right, that was AEW Dynamite. Hold on, let me go back to my. These are my YouTubers. These are my favorite YouTubers who are on who are talking about the show right now. Switch the camera back to mine. I don't know why that takes so long. All right. Oh my bad.
Did you know there are male and female trees? Guess which one produces?
Trying to wait to skip these commercials.
Throughout the day, and our moderators will gather
And
those,
Sean, what's
send them
happened,
our
Alan?
way. We've got post shows almost every night but Sunday, and then we got great shows like Wrestling Perspective.
All of them, freaking abuelita coming in, the pervert uncle, whoever. Hey, we
Nick
all
Wayne
got a
debut,
pervert
Pac
uncle, all right?
return, Colo coming to
Oh,
AEW.
young Wade sends in a super chat to say, Pac was not the fifth that I expected, but I'm more than happy to have him. Swerve continues to be a highlight of Dynamite. Hope you two have been well. Thank you so much, Magnum Wade.
Thank you.
Roberto Arsenal says Ibushi versus Naito and
Pittsburgh and IWC Wrestling several times. A lot of energy, a lot of charisma in it.
If I had the money and like
MJF and Adam Cole are fire.
let's say I worked a 9 to 5 job, that's all I did.
To be the guy to take the fall in this. Entertaining match here. I liked it because it was different.
Chris Jericho
Definitely had a
come in.
different vibe to it.
the big guys. The results are in, and Regina is way more.
All right. Now I can go back to the other WWE news. Now we can talk about the major backstage fight after Monday Night Raw main event,
When you hear these types of stories,
and also foolishly Jeff Hardy wrestling for GCW. As you guys know, the Judgment Day is now, as I said earlier in my video about Judgment Day being overexposed on Monday Night Raw. Now the Judgment Day is all over WWE Raw and apparently backstage too, as a fight broke out backstage after Monday Night Raw went off the air involving all members of the six-man tag team match, as reported PWI Insider. What happened? And is it bigger than it's being reported? Also, another AEW star leave the company, and he could benefit from being picked up by WWE. And Jeff Hardy working GCW SummerSlam weekend, and it could be a major mistake if so.
come out of WWE, you usually look at the article and say, that doesn't usually happen in WWE, especially under the current administration. But it did happen on Monday night, following a big six-man tag involving the Judgment Day when Monday Night Raw went off the air. There was a legitimate backstage argument after WWE's main event for Monday Night Raw went off the air. PW Insider is reporting this news that the argument involved members of the six-man tag team match that ended the show. The match featured Judgment Day, Dominic Mysterio, Damian Priest, and Finn Balor versus Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Seth Rollins. And the main issue was that some spots in the match did not go on as planned, and they were called clunky. And aspects of the match were changed at the last second. Uh-oh, what happened there, man? We'll get into that in a second. That's according to two sources within WWE. One source reportedly put the blame on a certain talent, but they didn't want to say who because they didn't want to make the internet go insane. After Finn Balor pinned Sami Zayn, everyone returned backstage, and that is when the argument began. Reportedly, it began out of frustration over how the match went, but there were never any indications that things were going to get physical, but many involved were not happy about the situation. It was noted that last night was just one of those nights, and emotions were running high.
Really?
You know, I didn't really think much of this when I read the article, but I always go back to what Triple H and his administration did when they were in Black and Gold, NXT Black and Gold. You never heard anything about the locker room having arguments, blow-ups backstage. They made it a principle to turn that performance center into a family-orientated place that everyone should want to be. One big family. Now, this doesn't happen on WWE television, or this doesn't happen backstage in WWE. It's seemingly the norm in AEW, and any given moment we're awaiting a blow-up from somebody backstage, but that's the type of environment that it is. It is controlled by the inmates. WWE has a great grip on its talent, and they don't allow this type of thing to happen. And the talent there know better not to do that type of thing because they're a representation of the company. Now, I want to blame Vince McMahon for this, especially the part where it says shit was changed last minute. Aspects of the match were changed at the last second. I mean, that's a Vince McMahon thing. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it is squarely on the lap of Vince McMahon. This is something that he should be blamed for. I don't want to sit here and do that because that would be wrong. But there has been, emotions running high on Monday night. Monday night is not in a good place right now. Raw is not in a good place.
Yeah.
It is very, very difficult to sit through. We are seeing, don't get me wrong, We are seeing some forwarding of storylines. We are seeing progression of storylines. But my God, whatever's coming off of that show is just so simplistic and boring and not
Yeah.
exciting. And how many times do we need to go back to the same type of match every single Monday? It's seemingly looking like we're getting a tag team match involving Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in the main event, whether it's against Imperium or Judgment Day, or it's Matt Riddle and Imperium in the main events, tag team match, six-man tag team match. Nothing is different.
Same old shit. SmackDown, I mean, Raw is getting garbage, getting more and more frustrating. Even even though you got Seth Rollins as your world champion, we don't know what you're doing at SummerSlam. You got Cody Rhodes still playing around with Brock Lesnar. Who gives a fuck about that? You got like the woman got barely like what 2 minutes. They don't give a shit about that. No one gives a shit about Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus. They've been going at it for 4 months. People are just begging for those feud to end and give us something new on this TV.
About anything.
Exactly.
It's always the same thing every single week, just changed a little bit just to appease the crowd. Oh, look, here's another match, another new match. Oh, here's this. Look at this match tonight. It's the same thing. They advertised Dominic and Seth Rollins again for a second week in a row. That's not something the Triple H administration
Exactly.
normally goes out there and does. That is the work of Vince McMahon. So when things are changed at the last second and we get very similar matches week to week on Monday night and on Friday night, who am I supposed to sit here and blame? Because that is Vince McMahon. That is not what Triple H does. Especially when he first took the pen and ran creative. We never really saw any rematches. That was one of the things that he wanted to do away with. Get rid of the rematches on Monday and Friday. And it's becoming more and more and more of a commonality on Monday night and Friday night.
I thought we were done with the
But I'm not
rematches.
looking at this as
I thought we were done with the rematches. Rematches on the show have been a big problem last year, and then during the pandemic, how we get rematches every single week, the same old shit every single week, and that would win that because of budget cuts of people being released, and they had a very thin roster. They kept giving it rematches every single week,
it's anything more than
and that's why people were not watching it.
brothers, sisters arguing over what should have been a better match than it was on Monday night in the
Yeah.
main event. This is nothing but, roommates or tag team partners or brothers arguing over something that they feel could have been done better. I'm not looking at this as anything more than that. It's not serious whatsoever. It'll probably blow over by the time next Monday rolls around. Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy's making his GCW debut next month, and this has a lot of people talking and a lot of people concerned. Jeff Hardy will make his first non-AEW wrestling-related appearance next month when he works for GCW for the first time in his career. Jeff was written off television last month after he and his brother Matt lost to the Guns, who are now a part of Bullet Club Gold, on AEW Dynamite. Post-match, the babyfaces were attacked by Bullet Club Gold after the match until Starks, FTR, and CM Punk ran in to make the save, set up a match for Collision on Saturday night. This was done to write him off television due to Jeff's past arrests, as he could not fly into Canada, a problem as AEW held shows in the country over the last month. Matt Hardy recently noted on his Extreme Life podcast that Jeff had to cut back on his independent dates. Jeff is just so nice of a guy, Matt says, where it is hard for him to say no, because he is very much a people pleaser, and I think part of his journey to sobriety over the last year, he has probably learned a lot, and he put his foot down in some terms of being a people pleaser, much like he doesn't wrestle on the indie scene right now. He's open to doing signings and cons and stuff like that, but he only wants to do 2 a month. He's really put his foot down with that, and I respect that, and I'm cool with that. End quote. Now, Jeff Hardy will work the August 4th GCW show in Detroit at the Harpos Concert Theater for their My Name Is event. I guess they are ripping off Eminem with that. I don't really know what the deal is with that, but that's GCW for you. After the show, he will take the stage for a musical performance. GCW has since updated its post noting that Hardy will be appearing and not wrestling at the show. So this makes me feel a little bit better. We talked about this last night on Tuesday Night Titans with Andrew Baydala and myself on Tuesday Nights Live. If you missed that, go and check that out. It's on the homepage right now. Talked about a lot of things that happened over the last 2 weeks since 4th of July. GCW announced Jeff Hardy, and we thought that he was wrestling on the show, and we really questioned Tony Khan's wherewithal about allowing somebody like Jeff to work the show. I'm happy to know now with the update that Jeff Hardy will not be wrestling. Now, clearly that could change. They could be advertising him for not doing much of anything but a signing and a concert, and then, you know, he's doing something. He's doing a swanton off of a fucking balcony, or he's crashing through 6 tables, and he's wrestling a legitimate match, and he's going crazy. That's what we don't want, because if AEW personnel is not around, if Tony Khan is not there to monitor the situation, then GCW will get heavy-handed. Any independent company will get heavy-handed and let Jeff do what Jeff wants to do, or they'll pay him more and convince him to do more when he was told not to do much of anything from AEW. But I'm going to take it as is. Jeff right now is not wrestling, and I think that's the best for all parties involved. And even if Jeff did want to do more and do some crazy stunt, I'm sure that everything here needs to go through Tony Khan, and Tony Khan's not going to allow that to happen, as Jeff is recovering from injury, and Jeff is still on the road to sobriety. So we will keep this situation monitored, as right now, Jeff Hardy will not be wrestling for GCW. He will only be appearing, doing autograph signings, and a live concert after the show is over. So I'm happy to hear that in regards to Jeff Hardy. Speaking of AEW star Brian Pillman Jr. is no longer with the company and has been removed from the AEW's roster page on their website. PW Insider confirmed that his deal has expired and he's no longer with the company. Pillman Jr. signed with AEW about 3 years ago, and there was no agreement made to renew his deal. However, PW Insider notes that the deal remains open for him and AEW to possibly work together again in the future. Pillman has been wrestling on the independent scene in recent weeks, and the last time he wrestled for AEW was on their house show Rules on May 13th in Salem, Virginia. I was surprised to hear this, man, and I was surprised to see that Brian Pillman Jr. did not get further along in AEW. I actually enjoyed the team of Brian Pillman and Griff Garrison. If you guys remember the Varsity Blondes or whatever they were going by on AEW television, I thought that they had the makings of a really solid tag team. But it seems like AEW never gave them complete, full company backing in the gimmick to really sustain some TV time. It gets...
All right.
The other content...
All right. Now let's go to the news and rumors. Now let's see what everyone else is talking about AEW Dynamite tonight. Pack of the 15 members. Alright. Alright. Oh, whoops, my man. Oh, wait, what? Yeah, so as I was saying, I'll go back to the AEW Dynamite that happened tonight. As I said, the Elise and Blackpool Combat Club announced their 5th man for Blood and Guts.
That's Sizzle? That's the soundtrack of Chipotle.
The soundtrack
Oh, what the hell? Alright, here we go. Hey. In memory of Mantar Mike Havoc, 1968 and 2023, Oh, someone passed away. Was he on WWE or was he on? I don't think it was AEW or maybe it was. I don't know. I don't know who the guy is, but someone passed away. Either way, as I was saying, deep as I said, Deep for the Masses on AEW Dynamite. As as I said, Deep for the Masses on AEW Dynamite. The Elite, the Blackpool Combat Club announced their fifth man for Blood and Guts. Chris Jericho and co-managed for the first time ever. Blind Eliminator Tag Team Semifinal, MJF and Adam Cole versus Brian Cage and Big Bill. I think we talked about that earlier in the show. We had a Blind Eliminator Tag Team Semifinal with Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin versus Sammy Guevara and Daniel Garcia. And then for the Owen Hart Foundation Tournament Semifinal, Sky Blue versus Ruby Soho. And as we talked about earlier, Swerve Strickland takes on the debuting Nick Wayne, who just turned 18 years old. And that was a decent match. And that was it.
Yeah, man, we got blood and guts next week. It's gonna be fucking fantastic, man. I love it. Don Callis continues to pursue Chris Jericho. Little manipulation tactic on Don Callis' behalf tonight, man. I see what he's doing, man. Gotta give him credit. You gotta give him credit. MJF and Adam Cole, baby, they're better than you, baby. We know it. We know it. First they're out at the bar, then Adam Cole wants to play video games. Oh, man. This shit is getting good, man. We're going to talk about their Eliminator Blonde Tag Team match against Big Bill and Brian Cage and Nick Wayne.
That oh,
I get it. So it's just
they brought the.
Alright.
It's working and make a believer.
Now get any
Reviews. So first off,
rumors.
it's going to be in.
In this too young. That he is like maybe he's starting this too early.
Alright.
It's an old friend of his, and in fact, it turned out to be Kota Ibushi. Ibushi is coming. You might get to see Murder Ibushi in Blood and Guts next week. Murder Ibushi is a very scary individual. So Kota Ibushi was, that was a shoo-in on the babyface side. The bigger question was, who was going to take the fifth spot on the heel side? And there were a lot of names being thrown around. I threw Chris Jericho out there as a possibility last week. Some people thought maybe it would be Evil Uno or somebody from the Dark Order, God forbid. Even Tony Khan was teasing the possibility on Twitter. He was trying to convince Chris Hero to jump in and take the spot. But it was none of the above. It was somebody, honestly, who I'm kind of pissed at myself that I wasn't even thinking about this person because it makes all the sense in the world. But the fifth...
Oh, wait.
the beginning of the year, he got his nose broken. That was during the whole best of 7 series with the Death Triangle and the Elite. Pac is back. And honestly, I cannot think of 2 better choices. I think Tony Khan, he nailed it with these 2 choices for Blood and Guts next week. So that is going to be great. That was the main story coming into tonight's show. The other story involved the reigning AEW World Champion, MJF, and his newfound alliance with Adam Cole. Their little bromance.
Oh, not too loud.
To the finals of this blind eliminator tag team tournament. We got another skit with them that we're going to be talking about. as they try to bond even further and cement their friendship. And the other story involved Chris Jericho, who is still contemplating the offer from Don Callis.
2023. I am your host, JD from New York. As always, coming to you live from the LTS Beer Garden. Thank you guys so very much for joining us on your Wednesday evenings, wherever you may be. As always, joined by my very good friend in the middle of a tornado, apparently, right? Jesse, what's going on, man?
Hey, man. Tornadoes, storms, blizzards. Nothing can keep me away from this podcast, bro.
Listen, man. What's going on with that background, man? You got fucking Paul Orndorff and Hulk Hogan doing a double clothesline, man. Mr. Wonderful over there. What you gonna do, brother?
Bro,
When Hulkamania runs wild on you, pal.
I went back and confirmed this was the last time in wrestling history, anywhere in pro wrestling ever, that a double clothesline was performed. True story, right there.
This was the last time a double clothesline by tag team partners was executed
ever.
ever.
I
don't know, man. I'm gonna need a fact checked on that one.
Tough help.
Alright.
The scrappy underdog.
I think we heard all my podcasters. Now let's go back to JD from New York. I actually wanted to go to I will talk about the other news and rumors in WWE. Different yesterday from JD from New York. TNT, Roman Reigns shouldn't have been pinned yet, right or wrong. So he's gonna talk about the controversy, Roman Reigns being pinned by Jey Uso. Now, Roman Reigns' third trial on Friday Night SmackDown after taking a pinfall loss to Jey Uso Money in the Bank. Roman Reigns being pinned was a very controversial topic, with some people saying he should have been pinned to set up his match with Jey Uso. Some people saying he shouldn't have to preserve his unbeaten streak. Now tonight, JD from New York and Andrew Bay down now discuss the pros and cons of Roman Reigns finally being defeated. Also, Kevin Nash feel like LA Knight is a whip-off of The Rock. The Undertaker wants Bray Wyatt to go back to his original character. Jeff Hardy makes his GCW debut, and some are worried already about his health. Okay. Alright.
Not fine. I just think Tony Khan needs to stop allowing his talent, both male and female, to wrestle or even appear for other promotions. I understand you want to help the independents. I get it. But at some point, he wants to sign autographs there. Go for it.
Yeah,
that's fine. But I don't know.
I mean, listen, the people on the same show here as Jeff Hardy. Nick Gage, obviously, is the face of GCW. Blake, just think it's a bad look for GCW as they kind of come off as they don't really give a shit or respect Jeff Hardy and him getting back to better health. And then Tony Khan, you know, of all the people on his roster, like I said, to have him go over there, I think that's the last person you want to send over there. I don't really trust that locker room to do right. I don't trust the talent to do right by Jeff Hardy. I don't know, man. It's a very gray area for me. You know, I'm not a fan of GCW, so I'm not going to really agree with this decision.
Well, I'm all for the boys and girls making as much money as they possibly can. Go for it. I'm just saying there's got to be a certain point in time where Tony Khan sits back and says, I'm not letting Moxley, I'm not letting Hardy, I'm not letting, any of these guys or girls head over there to anywhere to make, a couple $1,000. They have 2 major television shows. I think it's time to put an end to this.
You think Tony Khan was upset? I mean, how upset was Tony Khan when Jeff Hardy got into trouble when he got into trouble with his DUI the last time and he had to be off TV for a year? He's obviously seen zero return on his investment, and now he's risking potential injury depending on what he does with GCW. And Tony Khan is putting that out there for it to happen so easily. Like at some point, Drew, you're gonna have to say, "Hey, I want to get my money back on this guy. I want to do what I want with him. There's the reason I brought him in here, and he's gonna let him go over there and potentially get injured. I don't know."
Yeah, and I think you're 100% right. I think you hit the nail on the head there. His investment, Tony Khan's investment, is both the Hardy Boys, and Jeff's a single star in his own right. So yeah, I'd like to see some. If I'm Tony Khan, I'd like to see more return on my investment. But obviously, the DUI did not help.
Hardy's not having a good week, huh? I'm not going to touch the other thing. I mean, that's just that could stay over there, man. I mean, it is what it is. This is why social media, man. You don't really go back and forth with guys like that on social media.
I don't see the point of it either. Like, if some jerk off wants to come at me and be like, "Hey, you're bald, you suck," I'd be like, "Okay, cool, bro."
Yeah.
I still sleep well at night. I don't care, you know. Well, good for
I mean,
you.
what is Matt Hardy got to be upset about, bro? He's got a beautiful wife. He's got how many kids? He got
all
5
these kids, millions of dollars. Like,
He's Hall of Fame career. Who gives a fuck?
He's got nothing and nobody around him but his family where he lives. I mean, I would love that. I don't.
And then if he's over, then people will be like, "Well, we like him anyway," and they'll push him harder. We'll show you, haha, and the people will get with him a little bit more.
All right.
Sean didn't dress like Flair, but he,
Getting to the topic already.
banked briefcase more. I mean, LA Knight really doesn't. Look how over he is. The story on Monday Night Raw, and the story on that brand, and with WWE, is the Judgment Day.
Yeah.
And we're starting to see the cracks of the foundation. So you put the briefcase on LA Knight, no doubt about it, it works. He's got that kind of tweener persona. He's kind of heelish. He's kind of not and come out and tease it. But Damian Priest is a full-on heel, and they're also rewarding him for his match, in my opinion, and carrying of Bad Bunny at Backlash.
Yeah. Oh, and before that, he was losing a lot, too. So for him to win that briefcase, it kind of elevated him after all those losses that he suffered on television. One of them being to
11
Bad Bunny.
months ago.
Yeah, and that is true. Because he did lose a few matches. Besides qualifying the match with Matt Riddle on Monday Night Raw, but he did lose a few matches. Damian Priest did not have a match at WrestleMania. He was the only member of Judgment Day who didn't have a match at WrestleMania. Rhea did, Balor did, Dominic did, but not Priest. That's why they had to give him a match with
11 months ago,
with Bad Bunny at Backlash, and it was great.
we were not talking about Damian Priest even in the slightest. We could give a shit less. So I think this is them making again. And I saw the things on Twitter. Oh, we gave Damian Priest. Why not LA Knight? They're both. We need to go youth. They're both 40 guys. They're both in their 40s. Who cares? I mean, we got guys wrestling at 52. Okay, so it's fine. They're making new stars. If you get ascended at 40, you get to push at 40, or you get to push at 35. Whenever it's your time, it's your time. We need to stop looking at, well, this guy's 45. This isn't baseball. This isn't hockey. All right, they're going to be all right.
You think it's something a little bit deeper there with Nash and LA Knight? I don't know.
I don't think Nash knows him personally, and Nash doesn't have a bad bone in his body. Truthfully, from everything that I've read about him and all that other stuff, he's a really good, genuine human being, and I think he absolutely speaks from the heart. And maybe it just doesn't work for him. Maybe it's just like maybe what he's maybe trying to do, truthfully, is maybe he's trying to motivate LA Knight to be more of LA Knight and not more of these other guys.
Yeah. To be honest with you, though, when I watch LA Knight and I listen to LA Knight because he can talk, even if he is biting off of the Rock and Stone Cold, he's still a better talker than 98% of the people on that roster. And, he's a very good wrestler. He's over. People are wanting to see him, even if he is. Who gives a shit? At the end of the day, it's what the people want, and the people want to see LA Knight. And we should all be happy for him. And, about him being on NXT, he did go through the NXT system. He wasn't there for 5 years, but he did hone his craft there. And he did go to NXT, Drew. He didn't go right to the main roster, so he did have to work his way up to get where he is. He didn't just go to the main roster and get over. I mean, he was saddled with a couple of male models.
Was Drew McIntyre?
Nobody knew who he was.
Right. Was Drew McIntyre as over as he was before he left, went back to Impact, did all that stuff, did the independents, et cetera, and now came back, and Drew McIntyre was one of the most highly sought out free agents in professional wrestling. Yeah. So I get where Nash is coming from. Maybe Nash wants to see a little bit more uniqueness, more of his own personality from LA Knight. But realistically, like everybody in the wrestling business rips off of everybody in the wrestling business. So,
Yeah, just it's the same everywhere. I mean, music, wrestling,
Yeah.
sports, it doesn't really matter. I mean, everybody's biting off of everybody else. But I just hope that they do something with him substantial. Hopefully, we've got a couple of weeks for SummerSlam, whether
Yeah.
it's for the United States title or he has a match of some sort at SummerSlam. I just want to see him kind of slowly be elevated, but that's going to be a wait and see thing for sure.
Yeah, and I don't think Nash is burying anybody. I think he's trying to see more out of LA Knight because I know Kevin Nash from what he's shown and seen on Twitter, and we can read from it. He's not really into AEW, so I think the product that he watches is WWE, and he probably sees a lot of potential in LA Knight and wants to see more of just LA Knight and not Rock, Austin, whomever else.
Yeah.
Legends. Speaking of legends, right? And Kevin Nash is one of those. What about The Undertaker? He wants Bray Wyatt and WWE to go back to the original Bray Wyatt character. I know you've been a big proponent of this, so why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, The Undertaker said that the Bray Wyatt character is the original character that Bray should go back to. He doesn't know why they got away from that. I'll get back into that point in a second.
Yeah, I think we talked about that earlier.
And at that particular moment, at Elimination Chamber, at the Target Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota, I thought to myself, holy shit, these guys aren't even locked up yet. There's no moves, there's no nothing. And this place is standing and screaming from Wyatt's entrance, the Wyatt family's entrance, to the Shields walking through the crowd. They got on the apron, and it was louder.
Mhm.
It was so palpable. I was just like, that all these 6 men are going to ascend to the top of the wrestling business if they play their cards right, and they all did within their own right.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why WWE didn't go more all in with Bray Wyatt as that character. I feel like they really dropped the ball on that, and a lot of people go back and blame the loss to John Cena at WrestleMania 30. I'm like, it is what it is.
No.
Yeah, I do agree with that. With that Bray Wyatt, they dropped the ball on the guy like 5 different times. I mean, yeah, you're right. Having to lose WrestleMania 30 to John Cena, and then in 2015 he had a feud with The Undertaker for a bit. 2016 he didn't do much of anything. I think by the end of 2016 that's when they really built up a storyline with him and Randy Orton, and they dropped the ball on that by giving him the WWE title, having him drop it to Randy Orton, to have Randy Orton drop it to Jinder Mahal and would kill SmackDown. Bray Wyatt got moved to Raw. He had a feud with Finn Balor, and what came of that? It did nothing. He actually lost that feud, and then he was in a tag team. I think he was tag team champion with Woken Matt Hardy. And then in 2019, they reinvented him to the Firefly Funhouse Bray Wyatt, and then the Fiend, and then they fucked up with that big time. And then they just sealed the deal what they did with him and Goldberg, and everything he did during the pandemic, awful.
They feed everybody to John Cena. It was over before that. Then they tried to rehabilitate him. He won the world championship, and he was looking right. He was on the right track. He beat Cena and AJ Styles in the same match. Not only in the
Losing to
elimination.
Cena at Mania is not a big deal, though. That's not like
No.
wins and losses don't really. And I'm
Well,
not trying to hurt you.
they said the same thing about Rusev when he lost to Cena. Oh, he's buried.
Right, and he wasn't. I mean, when you get into a match,
Rusev
with
wasn't
John Cena,
buried.
We're talking about having like a match with Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania at that point in time. John was already well established, and he was at the top of the card. He was working with talent that I think he wanted to work with, and losing to Cena at Mania had no effect on Wyatt's career, in my opinion. I think it only elevated him to a higher status. And the problem with all of this is that it got too hokey. Like the Firefly Funhouse was awesome. Then the Fiend was burned and then came back through this portal. It was garbage.
And
It was just like,
Alexa took his powers. It's like, what the fuck am I watching?
Exactly.
Yeah, like I don't.
Because exactly, they killed the Fiend. That entire storyline was all for Alexa Bliss to take his powers and make it her own. And then Bray Wyatt got released, and WWE still owned a version of the Firefly Funhouse. Alexa Bliss was doing all that Bray Wyatt was doing, taking his finisher, taking everything that made it guy cool.
Mind the Disney magic movie stuff, but at some point in time, like even my kid was like, the Fiend's scary, and my wife was and doesn't watch wrestling, was like, that Firefly Funhouse stuff is wild, like that's cool, that's good TV. But then it just got stupid, and then they brought him back, and that's all we saw was like in ring segments, and he never wrestled, and I was just like, okay. I just don't think they know what to do with the creativity. He should go back to the original guy, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, it's all up to him. I mean, you could look at it one of two ways. He doesn't want to do it because he wants to respect Brody, or he could do it and respect Brody. I mean, you could do it and have it come off as a homage to Brody Lee. There's nothing wrong with that, but he's gonna do what he wants to do, and we have to respect his wishes and his feelings. So maybe we don't get that, but the one thing that bothers me about it, Drew, is that people say that he can't wrestle, and that was the one thing that people we're like, oh, JD, I don't know why you like Wyatt so much. He
At your cup of tea, because it's not a 5-star New Japan Meltzer rating match, means Wyatt.
Talking about Bray
I
Wyatt.
mean, he's very creative, and I want to see.
Alright.
Oh, surprisingly, I don't know what you thought of this. I thought it was going to be 4-on-4 with the injury to Bryan kind of throwing a wrench in. Beautiful. The segments with Adam Cole and MJF.
Was awesome.
And it's time limit draw. I didn't know where they were going to go with it.
Yeah. It was a great segment with MJF and Adam Cole.
That was weird. It was one night. That was it.
Well, I mean, don't tell Jesse that. He's like, what's in the red sack? He wants an answer like weekly. Like, I don't know what. I mean, they seem very deliberate as far as pairings are concerned. Now, bro, the men's and women's Owen and this blind. Love the flow of the show.
Austin got like 10 segments on a 2-hour show.
Yeah,
when he was on the top.
Well, we'll get to that on the Raw side of things. But on Collision, bro, we got the Owen continuing.
All right.
For CM Punk, I don't know. If Brett is there,
offensive to say, where's their secondary division? It's 9 a week ago, and SmackDown averaged 2.561 million viewers on Fox. That was actually up from the previous week as well. This is the highest rating since March of 2020. Now, a lot of people asked, why did the Bloodline get 40 minutes? This is clearly why. WWE is going to milk this shit and squeeze this orange out until there is absolutely no more juice, which
my phone about to die.
But there is
about to end the
a fine
video
line,
pretty soon.
and this is why I put it in the thumbnail, and everybody's fucking going crazy about it on social media.
My phone about to die, so I might go end the video.
This is cinema. They're calling all the youngsters down there, all the little fucking geeks on Twitter. They're calling this. Oh my god, this is cinema. Like, I get it. It's the big
thing in professional wrestling.
I might go end the video. Getting kind of late. Might go end the video. Hold on.
Just gonna flat out say, I think Commander's cringe, and this match meant absolutely.
Alright, back to AEW Dynamite.
Different than what we're used to seeing from MJF.
Might go end the video right here. Until next time, I'll be back with more. Hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the support. Might go just end the video. And until next time, I'll see y'all later.